Okay, we're live. Okay. Hi, everyone. This is DJ Henry, and we are live today with Lily Rubio. And I'm so excited because I found her YouTube channel years ago, and we've been communicating over YouTube for a while now. So this is the first time that we're getting to talk to each other. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Lily, for joining me today on this. So I was wondering. Go ahead.
I said, of course, I'm happy to be here.
I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, and a little bit about your journey of how you got to where you are now.
Oh my gosh, well, I have a little Halloween hat and that I just broke.
Oh!
Dang it, this was so cute. Anyway, I brought it out to say, okay, I wear so many hats. But I consider myself a multi-passionate person. And I've kind of always been like that. So growing up, I was an actor, and my brothers and sisters used to watch me play Barbies, which, funny enough, now there's YouTube channels of people playing with toys that my son is like obsessed with. My 3-year-old, I'm like, really, who watches these? And then my son's like hooked on them. So
my kids too.
Yes. I used to like play Barbies, and my brothers and sisters would watch me, and you know, that creativity kind of like carried on for the rest of my life. Obviously, we were young then, but I went to magnet school for drama, and I had big hopes and dreams of being a child actress. And I spent most of my younger years in the drama program doing theater and plays and auditioning, and I got my first composites made to go out and do like acting gigs. And I did a few local things here. And then I discovered around 15 years old, I stepped into my first recording studio. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to sing. I want to do this. And we were working with a producer and a songwriter at that time. And I was just 15 years old. I was in high school. But we started working on a song. And so I would go to school during the day, go to the studio at night. And I fell in love. I felt like I could be here all day long. It was just like where I found me. And then I had hopes and dreams to be a singer, and I really wanted to pursue that. And so we did tons of stuff. I'm from Miami Beach. Oh gosh, I just jumped into that. I didn't like officially introduce like who but I will get into that. I'll get into just being a mom and a wife and all that. But in Miami, you know, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of like industry things going on, and we went to tons of like events and stuff. And then I graduated high school and started college. And in college, I was going to school to be a teacher because technically there wasn't anything for what I was doing. And I'm like, okay, I need my plan B. Everyone teaches us that, right? It's like the mindset that like, okay, that's your creative dream and passion, but now what are you really going to do with your life? And we kind of like grow up with that. I'm sure you could relate to that a lot.
Yeah.
And so I was going to school to be a teacher, and I was hating every second of going to school at night, going to the studio, and then just like, school sucks. And then one day I saw a huge banner that says, get your degree in Miami's fast-growing music industry. And I was like, what? There's a degree for music business? I'm so there. And I went that day, I changed my major, and ever since then, it was just, it was amazing. I loved going to school. So I really believe in finding what you're passionate about. Like, I once read a book called The Passion Test, and the whole thing is about her theory, or her philosophy is, whenever you have to make a decision, always choose in favor of your passions. And so that's what I was so passionate about. So I was able to go to school for that. And I found
I'm just writing it down. Passion test.
Yeah, whenever you have to, the Passion Test. It's an awesome book. I met that author, and it was an amazing experience. But I think along the way, you know, I just felt really strongly that it was so important for me, despite what everyone else was saying, to follow my passions. And so eventually, I did get married. I'm a mom of 2 boys. I have 2 boys now, and I've been married to my husband for 9 years.
Woo! Congratulations.
Thank you. He's a doctor, and we survived the last 8 well, 8 years of medical school and his training, his residency training. He's a surgeon and specializes in women's surgery and pregnancies, OBGYN. And then we finally got a job, moved back to South Florida. We lived in Memphis for some time. And seriously, right now, our lives, like everything that we would hope and dream when we were students and like, babe, I can't wait for the day, this, and that, like we're living it right now. And my husband has always been a supporter of allowing me to pursue my passions. And so that's really helpful. So that's me in a nutshell. That's the last 20 years in a nutshell.
Wonderful. Can you go back a little bit to when you were 15, how you started working with the recording artist or the producer, right?
Yeah. Well, my mom was a songwriter, and you know, my mom plays a big role in this because she raised us to always be like, when you guys grow up, you're going to do something big with your life. Like you're going to be, everyone's going to, like, she just always put that in our heads, but she was also a creative person too and a songwriter. And we grew up singing my mom's songs. And so then it started with my mom wanting to pursue her passion. And we put together a mother-daughter group. And at the time we're like, oh, we're going to be the Latina Judd sisters.
Right.
Mom and two sisters. And we had hopes and dreams of doing that. So my mom actually was the one pursuing her dream to put our group together, and she met a producer and a songwriter and got us into the studio, and then that's when it was awakened inside of me. So my mom actually paved the way for that.
That's really a wonderful story, because a lot of times I think as moms it can be a real challenge to try to pursue your own passion, and you don't really always know how much it affects your children. And to hear that story, it's just so encouraging, because my daughter is 9 and now she goes in commercial shoots with me and auditions. And I had no idea that my kids were going to have any interest in anything I did creatively. And then my oldest, she's like holding the boom at our shoots and running like the lights at my shows, and at 10 and 11. And she's so happy, and it's just really awesome to hear that, to encourage moms to keep that passion going, because it actually benefits your children.
Right. It will awaken their passions. I always wonder, you're right. And I never thought of it that way. Like if my mom wasn't pursuing her passion, would I have found mine? That's a great point. I'm going to share that with my mom today.
Tell her I said hi.
All right.
So you were singing, and were you touring with your?
At the time, look, when I went to school for music business, it was so interesting, because it was almost as if the blinders had been lifted off my eyes. And I was like, oh my gosh, the music industry is one big fake. Like it is so fake, because I learned how people make money in the music industry. And I learned one of my first classes, like Music Business 101, it was this long list of everyone that makes money when you like sign a record deal, everyone that makes money. And it's like the record company, the producer, the writer, and you're like way at the bottom. And so you hear these people like, oh, she got a $5 million contract. Well, yeah, you got your $5 million contract, right? But all of these people got to get paid before you even see a penny. And every limo drive, everything that you just see them living the life, driving the Lamborghini that they bought or whatever, mainly like rap. I was like, oh gosh, these rappers, like brand new artists coming out, they're broke, but they're paid. So it was just like all of these people get paid except for you. You're at the very last bottom of the totem pole. And so for me, then I learned about independent music, and they also taught us like how to be an independent. And they showed us that basically like you can sell, 100,000 copies and make just the same amount of money as someone who sold 1 million. I mean, that's like 10 times more if you did it independently, because you're keeping, whereas someone with a label and stuff, they're literally making pennies on the dollar. You're keeping a whole like $6 of your album, they're getting $1. And so I learned that from early on. And so that a light bulb went off on my head, that I was like, look, I'm not trying to compete with Britney Spears. At the time, it was like Britney, Christina Aguilera, they were coming out, Beyonce. And I was like, that's not who I want to be. I'm like, I always was fascinated with being an independent artist. I thought that that was like, so when I did my album, we funded it ourselves. I was never signed with a label. I mean, we were looking for the help because you're like, okay, someone's got to help me with this. But when the doors were, when no one was knocking on my door, I realized I need to create my own opportunities. And so that's what I went. I recorded my own album. I started making contacts and going to music festivals, and I started getting booked. I started touring like all over the US. My music was played on Latin Christian radio, and I did all that myself.
That's awesome. So share with us the transition from doing all of that, and then did you do that while you were married, while you had your kids, or?
That was when I was single. So I was pursuing all of that before I had a family, pretty much before I met my husband. And then I met my husband, and he was the one that said, okay, at that time I had recorded like a few little singles, and he was like, babe, we're gonna record your album. Like, I told him my vision of what I wanted to do as an independent artist. And my husband, he gave me the money to record my album. And funny enough, like my husband was in medical. So I say he gave it to me, but he was in medical school. And when you're in med school, they seriously, like, you could take out as much money as you want. They like seriously don't ask any questions. And so my husband's not frivolous with money, and we're not like, he pays off his debt right away. Like, he's not this, but it was in his mind, he was like, this is what you want to do. This is the risk. Like, we're going to do this. And he actually took out money from like his med school loans, and we paid for my album. Mm-hmm. And I think we ended up, I mean, it's no cheap thing. Even doing it independently, we spend at least $15,000. So this isn't like, oh, a few $1,000, like 15 grand to record my album after everything was said and done. And so, you know, my husband actually started all of that and said, you're going to pursue your passions. You know, he made it possible. So I have him on the album as my executive director because he paid for it. But yeah, then I got married, and I pursued it probably for 3 years strong. And I was proud of a lot of the things that I did, but it was hard. It's hard. One day you're getting paid $1,000 to be in a show, and then another one they're like, well, you're going to get a lot of exposure and we don't have a budget, and you want to perform so bad, and you're like, okay, fine. And then you do these things, and then you show up and there's 3 people there, and you're like, what am I doing here? And trust me, I went through a whole lot of those where you're just like, I'm better than this. I do not deserve to be performing in front of 3 people right now. What the heck? And I'm like all dressed up, hair and makeup, and I'm like $1 million. And I'm here performing in front of 3 people. And it is, you know, to be creative, I call it a blessing and a curse. Because a blessing, because when you get to do this and you get to live out your passions, I mean, you're at your happiest. But it's a curse because you could seriously pursue this your entire life and not make a penny from it, and not like go where you hoped you could have gone in your head. But however, times are changing now with the internet, with YouTube, with social media where it is. And so there's so many more possibilities. Back then it was a lot harder. It's a lot harder to get the word out there that you exist and to give yourself your name. And that's kind of where YouTube came in for me.
So do you think that you might use YouTube with your music at some point again?
Yes, I did. I mean, that's how I started YouTube, with music. But then
let's talk about your YouTube journey.
Yes. So YouTube started with music, just putting my stuff up there. I didn't know much about it. It was just like, I had the same knowledge most people that don't know about the YouTube community have, like, oh, that's like where people just share videos. They were uploaded on YouTube. They have no idea that it's a community. I didn't either. And then I posted on that same, like I would post all my music stuff, you know, get some of my music videos on that channel. They do have like 10,000 views, 13,000, 3,000 different videos. And so towards I don't know, I ended up getting pregnant, and on that same channel, I posted a video about being 38 weeks and my baby was breech. And that video got so many views. So I was like, this is interesting. Like, that's getting more views than my music. What the heck?
Yeah.
So then at the same time, my brother, he's an actor and a comedian. He lives in LA, producer. And he calls me up. He's like, Lil, there are all these people making money on YouTube. I'm like, what? What do you mean? What is this world? And then I saw it as this new platform. And at the time, I was like, you know what? Nobody right now is knocking on my door. I've done a lot of things. I mean, I've accomplished a lot of things that I'm super proud of. I've been featured in the paper. I've done huge fundraisers and raised over $25,000 for a family. I've done a lot of things that I'm proud of, but it was never like, oh, I made it. You know, I never had that feeling. And I really felt like, you know what, right now, like I'm not where I want to be. So I need to create my own platform. I need to create my own platform. So the day that I do whatever Lily Rubio, I'm going to have my audience. So that was my vision from the beginning. Forget like the money. At that time, I was like, whatever, I had no concept, but it was like my audience. I need to build an audience. And so I started my other channel. Oh, wait, we're skipping because remember I started the clothing line.
The Cupcake Covertops, yeah.
See, sometimes I'm like, wait, I feel like it's too much. And then people are like, okay, you do too much. But the point is, I did start a clothing line along the way. But the point is, Deja, is that I have my little Ninja Turtle here. What happened? Hold on. You want to see Baymax? The point is that I was just searching. I was not waiting for opportunities to come to me. I had an idea for a clothing line, boom. I knew nothing about it, and I just decided to move forward with it. It took me a year to develop the concept. Okay, hold on. Mommy break really quick. Ninjago? You didn't like, last time I looked up Ninjago, you didn't like it. Okay, here. Go sit on the couch and watch those. So yeah, when I started
for the phones.
I know. Yeah. So I started another YouTube channel, and it was to promote Cupcake Covertops. But here was the thing. I also, like you, I had a passion for sharing business tips, how to succeed, how to get things you want for. I started reading tons of personal development books, and my mind was open to that. And I was very passionate about teaching other women how to pursue their passions. Because at this point I had recorded an album. I had, like I said, I had done all these fundraisers. Like I was doing things, and I was like, I gotta, show other women that they could have the same mindset and get this. And those videos did fairly good. I would share them on my Facebook. They were getting some traction. But then I got pregnant. And I decided, everyone was like, you're pregnant? Oh my gosh, we want to follow your pregnancy, which was another thing, like, follow my what? Who would watch that? Who would follow a weekly update on my belly? Like, who would watch that? Well, that was the thing that took my channel from here to here. I mean, within a year, my subscribers doubled. And I'm now, 4 years later, 14,000 subscribers. I just surpassed.
Congratulations. And the wonderful thing about YouTube, I remember I found Amanda Russell wearing your Cupcake Covertop.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
And then I was like, what are Cupcake Covertops? And then I found you.
And that's so crazy because look, when I started with her, I was kind of on the beginning of something with a fitness journey. I needed to lose weight. Me and Amanda ended up partnering up. She shared my tops. I promoted her meal plan. I did an Amanda Russell giveaway one time, like of her meal plan. And who would have thought, like, I think it was like 3 years later, I got into fitness myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've really been inspired by your fitness journey. And I think that it's really interesting what you said about creating a platform and being an independent creative person. I think when I started YouTube, I was looking for community. I was looking for other moms. I started doing skits. And at that time, no one was doing anything like that. I think there was Happy Slip. She was doing some skits. But I accidentally did like a DIY for a wreath. And my son jumped up in it. And I was like, and it was on my iMac. And it wasn't even edited well. And I was like, I don't even care if he jumps up in this. It's fine. And he was like 2 and like so chubby cheeked and cute. And it was just one of those days. I don't know what I was thinking, and now that thing has like the most views, 100,000 views or something. And then I was like, okay, I'll just do DIY videos, and kind of like you said, kind of searching and trying to figure out like what is your thing.
But it's almost like if you didn't just go for it, and that's a huge thing. Like people don't realize that a lot of this, it's mindset. So many people, I see it all the time, get stuck at what I call the starting line. And they're right there. And they're just paralyzed. It's like, just go. You know, you hear the concept of people like, okay, if I could just have my office and my stapler and my tape, and then I'll get started. My business cards. Oh, I love that one. I need my business cards. And people stay in business card mode for months and months and months because they're waiting. They can't promote their business until they get their cards.
Yeah.
Like, no, just go for it, you know?
Yeah. I always say done is better than perfect. Because, yeah, like that's what I'm doing now.
Are going to open doors to other things. It never fails. Every step you take is going to open a new door. But if you don't ever take that step, no doors are ever going to be opened. So, but mindset is huge, 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 huge.
So could you share with us a little bit about how your mindset has changed since Cupcake Covertops and pregnancy till now? What you're doing with fitness?
Right. So everything transitioned once again. I thought I knew what I wanted, you guys. It's crazy, but it's beautiful too. And everyone watching this has to understand that there is not, you know, they ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's going to change. I once heard someone say that in your lifetime, you're going to have 10 job changes and over 5 career changes, which I feel could even be more. And it's so true. Right when you think you know what you want, it could change, or it's gonna change. So we need to all be open to that concept and to just know that it's not supposed to be what we think it's gonna be, that it could change, and be okay with that. Be open to that. And so after I had kids, I realized that I didn't really want music as the way that I was going with it as bad as I thought I did. I had friends. I'm friends with a really big group, a Latin Christian group. They travel all over the world. They're huge, millions of albums sold. And she had just had a baby too. And guess what? Like the baby was 2 months and she was on a plane that weekend and constantly always traveling. And even though I was so happy for her success, I know how much it pained her to leave her kids. And so I just thought, you know what? I don't want that. Like that was their living. That's what her and her husband did. They had to do that. And I just thought, I don't want to leave my little precious baby. Like I want this. But I still had passions and gifts that I needed to use and put out there. And so that's when Cupcake Covertops came on. But the thing that happened with cupcakes was that I had problems with my manufacturer. I could not get someone to make my tops the way that I wanted them every time perfect. I'm like, how hard could this be? But apparently it was. I had to fire 2 factories. Right when I found a new one, I'm like, crap. They were perfect in the beginning, and then it would just go wrong. And it kept happening. So I reached a point with that I was like, I seriously don't know what to do with this business without investing like thousands and thousands of dollars into advertising, marketing, because there was competitors of mine that were like doing amazing. And I'm like, I know I have that thing. Like people need my tops. They just need to know it exists. But how do I reach those people? And I was just like, I don't even know what to do anymore. I just kind of like what was once so exciting. I'm like, so then at that same time, someone presented the opportunity to become a fitness coach with Beachbody. And here's the thing, as an entrepreneur, creative person, I was like, no. Beachbody is network marketing. Lily does not do network marketing. Matter of fact, I like make fun of people that do network marketing. I like despise it. I have no respect for it. I was just like, oh my gosh, these people with their business opportunity. And it's so ironic that I would end up in this now and that I'm achieving huge success with it when I hated it so much. It was mainly because I didn't understand it. But yeah, so right when I thought I knew what I wanted, it all shifted. Someone presented this opportunity to me, and it was as easy as just share what you're doing with other people, and you know, you might be able to help them and build your own team. So I said, all right. And I did that. And I mean, I completed a year doing this. My business has not slowed down. I had to put Cupcake Covertops on the back burner. And in fact, my whole YouTube channel has now turned to like health, fitness, inspiration, healthy living. And that, I am super passionate about that too.
That's
So
awesome.
Here we are, Deja.
You're inspiring me. You're like a life coach. That's awesome. I've really been following you a lot. It's like literally, I know, please don't be freaked out, but like the days this morning I didn't want to, and I was like, I'm going to talk to Lily today, and I'm not going to go on this interview and haven't had done my workout. And I just think that like it helps so much to have that visual, to actually think and say, okay, well, she was able to go from this to this body, and she's a mom. Like that's the other thing. Sometimes I see, you know, people doing things and it's really great, but when they are a mother and they have all these things to balance, and it's like, okay, I can do it. I don't have to have this excuse, and to feel so much better. I actually studied kinesiology in college and used to teach aerobics and personal training, and I used to do Arbonne, which is in network marketing, because that was all like healthy stuff.
Yeah, I was helping my sister do it too.
Yeah, and so eventually, I didn't know anything about network marketing, not even to make fun of it or anything. Like I didn't know what it was. But then I started having that dread every time I was out. Like I have to talk about what I'm doing and all this stuff. But I think this is the first time I'm like, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could. And I watched your video when you went to the summit, and it was just so inspiring. So I don't know, I'm just going to try to get through the program before I think about anything more. But I wanted to ask you, how do you balance time for family and friends?
Okay. That, I want you to know, honestly, that there really is no such thing as balance. When you're focusing on your work, your house is going to suffer. When you're focusing on your house, your kids are going to suffer. Because like, I got to do the dishes. It's always like that. You have to come to a place, though, where you set rules and boundaries for yourself. It's more about boundaries to me more than it is about balance. Because boundaries, what it does is you say, okay, when my husband comes home, I got to shut off the phone. When my kids come in the car, when I pick them up, phone off. Or because, you know, now I work on my phone. It's a constant struggle. But the thing is, I know that if I wasn't doing this, I would not be happy. My husband now, he's a doctor. He makes a good living, and he tells me, babe, you don't have to do this. You don't have to work this hard. But the thing is, there's this fire that's inside of here. It can't be shut down. It can't be shut off. And if it shuts off, I will shut off. And I really believe that moms need an outlet, because I talk to so many who don't, and they are depressed. They are depressed. They just live for their kids. And let me tell you, I really believe our purpose here on this earth is to have our families, to raise our, like it means nothing if you have this thriving business and your marriage is falling apart and your kids, you're neglecting them. It means absolutely nothing. So family is absolutely first. But at the same time, you need something for you. You need something for yourself that you can say, this is mine. I don't care if it's making little bows, if it's like, what can you sit down and do all day long that's productive? We're not talking about TV or anything like that. That's productive, that makes you feel good inside. And you could do it all day long. It doesn't have to be something crafty. It could be going out and talking to people. It could be looking at nature, gardening, something that makes you come alive. What is it? You need to find that. Everybody needs to find that, because without that, you lose yourself, and then you're sitting around resenting being a mom, a wife, like all of that stuff. It just goes like this. So the way that I balance it is, luckily, I work from my phone. And so I can turn that thing off or on, leave it, not leave it. But the truth is that to really be successful, it takes time. It takes sacrifice. I work, if you put it all together, I work a lot on this, but I'm not at a desk, like looking at my clock. I mean, it's throughout the day. A post, like my job is to make a post. That's part of my job, a social media post.
So what does your work day kind of look like? Are you getting feedback? No, I'm getting feedback.
A little bit, but so what I love about Beachbody is that they have implemented kind of like what our work day should look like. So I start off my day with a glass of water and a book on personal development. It could be about business, leadership, something about succeeding, marketing, something that's going to help me learn and grow. And let me tell you, that habit replaced my awful habit of watching reality TV. I used to sit on my couch and I could not miss a Real Housewives, like all of them. Some of them are like New York. I didn't really care for it. But I watched Housewives, and if you put it together, it was a lot of hours of watching that trash and that junk that wasn't doing anything for my life. And matter of fact, when other people walk in, you feel so ashamed watching this. You're like, oh gosh, it's so cheesy and drama filled. But that's what I was watching. And so now my new habit is starting my morning, I pray, I read my scriptures, I read some kind of book with personal development. It doesn't always work out that way. I have a 2-year-old at home, a 5-year-old in school, a 3-year-old at home. So, I've learned, okay, if I'm trying to do something and it's not working with the flow of my family, then I stop it. And it's like, okay, my son wants to play. Playtime. So that's what I'm saying. I have an idea of what I want my day to look like. After that, I do my workout. Lately, because my son he's just not the same without his brother here. And the fact that he hasn't like, it's a miracle. He must be watching something really good because he's right here. He needs mommy, mommy, mommy. I get out of the house. I go to Chick-fil-A, free Wi-Fi. He plays, I'm there working. We go to the art museum and we'll spend hours there. And while they're playing, as long as my kids are having fun and they're not stuck in front of babysitting TV, I'm happy. We go to a park. So that's the beauty of learning how to make money online, is that you work from your phone and you take it anywhere. So that's really the key, is seeing, like, I know that I need to get out of the house. Which one do you want, Poppy? Oh, my son, how cute. Here's my son in a video that used to be my son. He's like, your son, mommy. That's all he came to show me. How cute. That is my song, baby. But that's the truth, Deja. I have what I want. I mean, I can draw up the perfect day for you, but it never turns out that way. Usually after my workout, I'll do housework, clean my kitchen. I need a clean, uncluttered kitchen to just be in peace. My laundry could stack up all day long, but I need my clean kitchen and my organized pillows and couch. But guess I clean up my mess a million times a day. I mean, I'm still a mom here. I'm still a mom, but the beauty is, the beauty is I found a way to make money using my phone.
So how do you schedule in, like, making your YouTube videos? And because that takes time. It takes time to make them and edit them and upload them and tag them.
Yeah, the truth is that when I edit, I'm up till 2 a.m. and I wake up at 7. But I have just as much energy. So got to thank Shakeology for that. That's just me. I'm just like, my ambitions, my drive wakes me up every morning. It's all good. But yeah, days that I do, last night I just uploaded a butternut squash soup recipe and I went to bed at 2 a.m.
I got to check that out because my mother-in-law just brought me a butternut squash from her garden, which I'm really excited to eat, and sweet potatoes. So
make this soup and make sweet potato fries in the oven.
I will check that out for sure. What else I have? Oh, I wanted to ask you. I just have a few more questions. Who influences you? Who inspires you?
Well, lately it changes all the time. It's so funny you ask that because, like, I think about if I could meet a celebrity, there's nobody that I would be like, I would die to meet this person. I'm not fanatical of anyone. So it's really like different things just inspire me. Right now, there's this motivational speaker I'm like all over, Eric Thomas. that guy just speaks with like he's gonna die tomorrow and he's got to let it all out right now. He's got to let you know what you have to do. I love him. And that kind of passionate fire, like that's me too. So I relate with him a lot. I love Tony Robbins, like a lot of the motivational people. I love leaders for my church. Every year we have a conference, and there's certain like apostles in our church that speak that I'm like, I mean, one time when I was living in Memphis, one of them came to speak, and I was like a groupie. I'm like, if I could I just want to see this guy. I just want to hug him. And like that meant more to me than meeting any other celebrity, because that man has influenced my life. When he speaks, I'm just like, oh, I want to just stand up and be like, yay! He's so good. So good. So just anybody that just like, man, just makes me think differently. Like, I mean, I get inspired by different things every day, but I can't tell you, like, I know it's probably like, I wish I could tell you like one person, but it's just like, I get inspired by just, I don't know, different things. Every week it could be something different, but it's really just like goodness, like just people doing good and just living out passions. You know who recently inspired me? And their ads are all over YouTube. The 5-hour energy guy drink.
Oh yeah, I watched that documentary. Yeah.
Yes, that man left me like, where has this man? Then I started watching all of his videos. I'm like, this guy is giving away 90% of his wealth, and he speaks of it like, listen, it's either give it away or what, ruin my kid's life. Like, I'm not gonna, by giving him everything he wants. He's like, no, we give it away. It was like so casual, and I'm just like, this man is amazing. I'm inspired by him.
Yeah. I agree. I watched his document. His what do they call it? The stage 2 engineering building.
Yes.
That's not too far from me. It's like the next state over. So I told my husband, like, road trip. Like, it's not road trip to a Dave Matthews Band. It's like road trip to this older Indian man's house.
Right.
So my father's from India. So. Or are you saying get away?
No, but right. So yeah, that guy totally just inspired me. Like, just like, wow. So anyone going above and beyond, people who have handicapped children that get up every day and take it, they inspire me. People who just like rise above. Like, I love to see that. Anyone that, you know, it's so easy. People stay in their comfort zone. And, you know, sometimes I even go to church and, you know, people barely look at you. They don't want to smile. They feel embarrassed. Like, you know, I go to church. You know how I make church fulfilling for myself? I go to church and I look around. Who can I serve here? You know what? I'm a mom. I've been home. I really haven't been able to serve or do anything in my community or anything. But right now I'm here somewhere. Who can I serve? Boom, a mom with a crying kid. I'll get up, help her. My kids are quiet. Someone else is fumbling, picking up. But I go to church with that mindset. And that's kind of just like how I wake up and live my life. You know, who can I make a difference in their life and help and go above and beyond? So anybody I see going above and beyond, man, they inspire me.
Yeah, I agree. There's something about watching people express their gifts and their talents and like you said, like having that fire and that passion. And I don't know how to describe it. When I've cry sometimes. It's really funny. If I hear someone singing and they're just being who they are, and even if it's in a church service and the worship leader and they're just full out, like that guy you're saying that talks like he's gonna die tomorrow. It's just, I'll just be honest, I feel like it's a reflection of God, honestly, and it's just beautiful. So I think you kind of answered some of the questions. It's almost too, well, you kind of answered how do you handle fear, kind of like don't get stuck at the starting line and just go for it and that doors will open up. So I think one of the last ones was advice for moms who are beginning on YouTube. How can they want to get started, they want to create a platform. You know, I guess the thing with YouTube that I've learned is that, and I think, and seeing your channel, it morphs and it changes, but you create an audience that's like following your journey and supporting what you're doing and they're interested in what you're doing. So what kind of advice would you give for a mom who's like, I want community, I don't know what to do, I see this YouTube thing, what can I do, how can I get started?
So the first thing is, you got a phone, you got an iPhone, you can get started. We all have phones these days. So there's your iPhone. I know I got mine right there. Can't wait to open it. My new 6S Plus. I got the big baby.
Oh yeah,
like we work on our phone. So if you got a phone, especially any new phone, you have the highest quality camera. You can do a movie with that camera. Trust me, with the right lighting. So first thing I want anyone to do is to be thoughtful with what you're going to do. Don't just throw up crap up there, because nowadays, yes, you could put up a crappy video and like, you know, yours with your 2-year-old and it could go somewhere.
That was years ago though. It's different now.
Right. But like, I know when I started doing my pregnancy vlogs, all the pregnancy vlogs were like a mom and with a dirty bathroom behind, a towel rack and dim lighting. And I said, I want to make this visually appealing. And so I went outside, I would do belly shots, I would find locations. I mean, I wanted to make it different than what I was seeing people were doing. And okay, not everyone has like, but I'm not creative like that. Just make sure that you're, you know, look around yourself. Like if you have a garbage can in the back, move it out of the way, look at your surroundings, make sure it's presentable, and boom, film your video. So how do you get started? How do you find out who you are? Well, the first thing you do is just share you. A lot of people are like, but I'm not special. You guys, the other day, my friend was here and I was making picadillo. It's a simple, like a traditional, simple ground beef Spanish meal. Onions, green peppers, oregano. It's very basic. I was making mine and my friend that was here was like, you don't put the meat in with the onions? And I'm like, no, I do the onions first. And then she's like, oh, I put everything in. A simple dish. And here were 2 people that made it completely different, but we're making this like simple same dish. So you may think that what you are doing, like, wait, but everyone does this. Like, what's the big deal? We wake up, we brush our teeth. You might brush your teeth a different way that somebody else does. And so you have to realize that, trust me, a lot of what you do is unique to you. There's only one you. I love Marie Forleo because she teaches there's only one you. So you have something to offer the world because there's only one you. No one can duplicate you. So truly forget who influences you and see, like, be you. Your house is messy and, you know, then, hey, be open to just say, I'm going to show myself. Before, I wouldn't go on camera unless I had full on makeup. Never. And then now I'm like sweaty and gross vlogging. But that was relieving. That was like I was able to make more videos that way because I used to be so worried about how I looked. I couldn't go on camera looking like that. So be yourself, find who you are, but trust that who you are right now is someone different, and just be you. Practice makes perfect. Your first video is not going to be like your 10th video, and your 10th isn't going to be like your 50th. So just go for it, practice it. Find what makes you, what are you passionate about? What could you do all day long? What could you talk about all day long? And incorporate relevant topics with the things you're passionate about. Relevant topics with the things that you're passionate about. So right now, like with fitness, weight loss, it's not going out of style anytime soon. So I share that stuff with bits and pieces of my family. I'll vlog and do things like that. And then I'll share fitness and nutrition. And then I'll share, you know, entrepreneur, like whatever, mix it in with the things that I love, but find relevant topics. And relevant topics as a mom, it's stuff like, you know, products that you're using for your kids. It's potty training, weaning, breastfeeding, making your baby food, what foods you feed your kids, you know, things like that. Relevant topics mixed with the things that you love. And be you. Brand yourself. We are the brand. You are the brand. Remember that you're the brand. So basically that's it. You have the equipment. You have everything that it takes. Just go for it.
Yeah, I agree. In this day and age, we have everything. I mean,
you know, there's that being said, there's no excuse, but there is a lot of saturation. That's the difference. Now it's so much harder to grow. Like, I think in 4 years, I only have 14,000 subscribers. Like, I still feel a little like, about that. but that's okay. Like, understand that it's a lot saturated now. Now everybody's trying to do video. So really, you do need to be a little more thoughtful. What could you do to stand out? You know, what could you bring different? Think about it. Pray about it. See, like, what could you bring different to the table? And then, you know, and then execute that. But at the same time, you're different because you're simply you.
Right, right. Well, I think our time is done. I really enjoyed our conversation. I honestly think I could just keep asking you questions. But I think that I've definitely found a shared passion with you about helping other people find their passion, and especially moms. One of the saddest things for me to ever hear is I feel like I'm losing myself, because I've been there. I've been to that place. So
Yes.
I'm gonna think of something. I would like to do a collaboration, but I want to really think out a really good pitch to you. Something that I think, I don't know, my mind is just turning with ideas. So is there anything else that you want to say before we sign off?
You spoke a little bit about fears and about mindset, but I have learned something this last year since I started fitness and just a new venture, is that the mind is powerful. Like, it is truly, it is like 90% of your journey is going to be the mental, because your mind's going to tell you, you can't do this, you're not good enough, you're not, you know, you don't have what it takes. That's what the mind is going to tell you. You're going to look around, you're going to compare yourself. All of that stuff is going to happen, and it's going to keep you from pursuing what you've always wanted to do, or something that you've thought about doing. And so you have to get the mind right. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is. So it's not conceited, it's not stuck up. It's just about having a mindset that you know without a doubt. And I've had this happen to me multiple times in my life, where something I set my mind to and it happened, because I just didn't even, I walked in and I'm like, it says right there, this is not gonna, and I did, like, it happened because I believed and I knew and I thought it, and it happened. So just know that your mind is powerful, and you have to believe in yourself. And smile for me so I could take a screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Do you have to be on the top, like talking? Because you can see me right now, right?
I see you. I never got bigger. I just see you.
Oh. Okay, I'll have to see on the recording what happened. Yes, I think we could have a whole other conversation on comparison. What you kind of touched on, because like everything being saturated, and I actually just made like this audio course called the Comparison Cleanse, and I've been really thinking about that topic, and actually been studying the Bible and what the Bible says about things like that. So I we have to have another conversation on that, because
maybe that could be our collab.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Let's keep talking about it. So we're gonna go ahead and go. Thank you, everyone who is going to be watching this replay. If you want to subscribe to Lily's channel, I'll put it in the description box. And you can also subscribe to my channel so that you can get more interviews with other mommies. I'm so excited just to be doing this. Lily, thank you so much for giving me an hour of your time. So I know that you're busy.
It was a miracle. I cannot believe I was able to give you an hour. Like this one, this is a miracle. So yay, it was meant to be.
Give him a hug and say thank you. Now is that Luke?
Yeah, that's Lukey, my 3-year-old. And I gotta go pick up my son now. So
okay. All right, thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
All right, see ya.